Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about the importance of risk management when traveling or doing outdoor activities like camping. I recently had a situation where I had to change my plans due to unforeseen circumstances. I was on my way to Mount Shasta for a video shoot, but I decided to celebrate the new year with some friends in the desert. It ended up raining a lot, and that's the most amount of rain I've ever seen out there. While we had a great time out there, I ended up checking the weather and news reports because it just wasn't a normal event to happen out in the desert with all that rain. After pulling down the weather and news reports, I found out that the highway I was planning to take was completely flooded, and some of the other routes either had landslides or heavy holiday traffic. What was happening was an atmospheric river was forming over California and dumping rain after a long period of drought. Despite putting in a lot of time and effort, I decided to cancel and return home to prioritize my own safety. It can be tough to change your plans, especially when you put in a lot of work and effort into making them. But I think it's important to reevaluate your situation if the risk becomes too high. In many other cases, people may have just decided to keep going, which may have resulted in them getting hurt or even worse because they couldn't accept the conditions that were present. I think it's important to consider risk management when making outdoor plans or traveling. And these are some of the tips that I've used over the years I'd like to share with you so that you can increase your own safety as well. Number one is to stay informed about the weather forecast. No matter where you are or what season it is, weather conditions can change unexpectedly. A great item that I like to have on me is a weather radio. This is a great tool to have on hand because it allows you to drop down a weather forecast in areas with either very little or no internet connectivity. I can't tell you how many times I've driven into an area expecting an internet connection, and even though it's 2023, there's still areas out there that have no service. To stay safe, it's essential to adapt to changing weather conditions, but this only helps if you know what's happening. I've had multiple events where I thought the weather was gonna do something. I've been looking at the weather for weeks or days before, and then I'll get to the location, can't drop down a weather forecast. It's completely different weather than what I thought it was gonna be. Had I had a weather radio or something like that to give me more up-to-date, real-time information, I would have probably made a different decision. My second tip is when you make your original plans, make sure to plan a backup plan in case your original plan doesn't go the way you thought it would. When I was trying to summit a mountain in New Hampshire with my brother, we ended up turning back because of the snowy and cold conditions. Had we kept on going, we would have quickly found ourselves in blizzard whiteout conditions, and that would have very likely evolved into a dangerous, life-threatening situation. We ended up descending and camping overnight and had a great time in town the next day, which leads me to my next tip. You want to research the areas that you're going to. Some places have a reputation of having way more incidents than others, and there's usually a good reason for this. An area that comes to my mind instantly are the White Mountains of New Hampshire. There have been hundreds of fatalities due to cold exposure out there because although they aren't very tall mountains, they can have very different weather than the valley floor below. There's also 3 different storm tracks that go right through the area, and weather can come in very fast and catch people by surprise. The weather is so bad in the White Mountains that I highly recommend people use the Mount Washington forecast as it's the most reliable for the whole region. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any other tips that have helped you in your travels or camping trips. If you found these tips helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and check out this next video over here that goes into how to hike safely when you're alone.